Okay, I'm thinking gift giving on this video, so I want to do a recipe book holder for the countertop, and my board can only be to fit under a counter. I don't want it any taller than this one, so I have marked it. Can y'all see? Yeah, I marked it right here for the height. Can't be any taller than that. And then this is a board that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to use it for a pattern. Put it on my sides. They're about the same size. Okay, so I'm just going to trace this. I have to hand that in. Okay. Okay, that one. Probably need to come out a little more with that one. Yeah. That'll work. Now, I don't want the bottom of this rounded off because I'm going to have a board that comes up with a lip to hold the cookbook. And I'm going to go cut this out with my scroll saw, make the piece up here that'll hold the book, and then figure out how to make a stand for it. And I want to I am going to want to put something decorative on the front. But right now I'm going to go cut my board out with the jigsaw and then take this to my craft room and see what I want to do with it. Also cut the pieces for the front. After I get that finished, then I'll figure out what I'm going to do for the back. Or somewhere in there, I'll figure it out. All right, I'm going to go cut this out. Well, I was going to use my drill press, but I can't find my chuck. So until I find that, I can't use it. But anyways, I have a 3/8 inch. I don't know what you call these. I don't know. But I'm going to drill my hole. All right. Okay, I have my hole drilled. Now I've got to figure out how I'm going to hold the book on. I've got to get some wood for that. Okay, I found this piece of oak. I had this piece, but I think it needs to be a little thicker because if you're setting a book in there, like a recipe book, you're gonna need it to be thicker. So I found this, and I'll just mark it right there, right here. I'll cut that off, and it needs a lip. And I found this thin board. I don't know, I might need more of a lip. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a little wider board, a thin, wider board. Oh boy. Well, I gotta go dig through my wood some more. Okay, I did find a piece, and you can see it's just a little wider. Well, I've got to get it at an angle where y'all can tell. And that way, because that would have been fine if it was up here, but when it's going on here, I need a lip to hold the book. And I think that's going to work. So I'll have to cut that piece off. Well, I'm going to cut this piece off first. Now, I'll take this piece, and cut it off there. See if that's going to be the right size. Perfect. Okay, so I guess I'm going to go work on, I'm going to sand these two pieces, and then I'm going to work on my cutting board, and then I'll put it together, and then I've got to figure out how to do the back. I was thinking maybe on the back, find a piece that's not quite this thick, but that width, and maybe use a little hinge and put one there, one on the, I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure this out. And then because if I put the hinge, I'll have to show y'all what my mind's going, I think. That way it'll lift up like that, and I put a hole through here, or put some kind of rope or something to hold it so it doesn't do that. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm going to go get this done first. Okay, the color I've picked out is Dixie Belle drop cloth, and I'm going to just take and that's just a pencil mark. Okay, I'm just going to paint the board, and it'll probably take 2 coats, and I'll paint the whole board with this. And I'll also paint these drop cloth also. But I'm not going to have you sit here and watch me paint all this, so I'm going to continue on painting it, and when I get ready, I'll show you the image that I'm going to be using. I have an image picked out that I want to put on my board, so I'm going to use my Silhouette software to size it and everything. I'm going to hit merge up here, and then I want this one right here. It'll come in. I'm waiting. Okay. Now, it needs to be a 9x9, so it's 12x12 right now, and I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to lock that ratio padlock, and when I resize it, I'm going to do a 9x9. Okay, put point or 9 point, and I'll hit enter, and it resized together. Now, I need to, well, I'm going to resize this first. Let's see. I want that like that. Yeah. Now I can pull that back around the way I want it. All right, that looks good, and I want to cut a little more off of that side. About right in there. I'm going to get my knife tool here. Get it right there. Bring it down and get it as even as I can. All right, and then I'm going to get my knife tool again. Come to this side. Come in just a little bit. That looks good. Pull those off. I'm going to get rid of those. That way it'll fit on my board. Well, it'll be a little shy of my board, but I cannot, if I don't have thin enough paper to use to do a 9x9 printout. My printer will do a 12x12, but I need it smaller, so this will work. So I have it sized in the way I want it, and then I'll just go up here. I'm going to hit print, and you can see there's the printout, and I'll choose my Canon to print it out, and preferences. I'll do standard paper and or plain paper and high quality. And now I'm going to print it out, and that's what I'm going to use on my cutting board top. Okay, I have this painted, and right now I'm just kind of seeing where I want a little more of that, so that won't go totally all the way down. So I think I want to start ripping my paper. I'm just kind of making an outline. Move that. Of where I want to start ripping. Yeah. And I don't think I want to use water, but I'm going to try not to use the water method. It's just thin paper, so it should do good. I think that's fine. Okay, I'm going to finish ripping this, and then I'll be back. Okay, I have it ripped, and I'm going to go around the edges with some Distress ink, and I've picked the antique linen to go around the edges with, just to cover up the white. That gets the edges of the ripped paper that's white. It kind of fills that in. All right, that's good on that. Now, I'll get my Mod Podge out and start putting it on my board. Okay, I decided before I put the image on with Mod Podge, I'm going to go around the edges with some brown wax. I have the brown Jolie wax. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Anyways, I'm just going to go around this so it won't be so stark white. Up against the, let's see how that looks. Yeah, I like that better. Put a little more right in here. Okay, that blends all that in better, I think. Now, hit the back, the sides of it just a little bit. So they're not so white. Alright, I think I'm ready now to put the image on there. Set that aside. I think I'm going to put it about right in there. Let's see. Yeah, that's just right. All right, that's where I want it. Got my Mod Podge. I'm going to hold that down right. That's a little crooked there. Right there. Going to be out far enough. Okay, I need a baggie. Need that over here. Make sure I get plenty on the edges. Last bit of it. Now, I am going to let this dry, and I'm going to go over it with a matte spray after it dries and seal it good so that, you know, if it's in the kitchen and it gets some water slopped on it or food or something, it won't stain it. And that way I shouldn't get any smearing of my image. I want it to stay, this rooster at least stay good and clear and not, you know, when you go over after you've printed something off from the printer, it wants to kind of smear around if you brush over it. So that's what I'm going to do, is put a clear coat over it, spray it. I think all my edges are down. Yep. All right, I'm going to let that dry. And after I get it sprayed, it'll be ready to put together. I did come up with something for the hinge. I was lucky because I couldn't find the hinge. I thought I had some little gold hinges. Well, let me show you. I thought I had some little gold hinges like this here, that was just this part and this part, and I was going to put, you know, screw that onto the board and this on the back of the board that's going to be in the back like that. Well, I got in my stash where I had bought some stuff. I always pick up little things like this at the thrift store, and I got my stash and found it, and it's going to work perfect because it will fit. Let's see, how am I going to do that? I got to remember, this goes like that. This will go on there, and this will fit on the back of the board and be able to hinge in and out. And I think I'm going to need to put on this back side here, do maybe like a 20 or 30 degree angle on the board right here. But I couldn't have found anything that worked any better than this. All right, I'm going to let this dry and start putting it together. All right, I came out here and was going to put it together, and I have a change of plans. I got instead of using the hinge here, I just got a piece of board. It was 5-inch board, and I cut it up on I cut it with my miter saw at a 17 degree angle. You can see the angle. And I'm gonna tip this sideways. It'll fit. Hang on, I gotta get a way to give y'all a shot of this. Move that. Move that. Anyways, it'll fit there not there. What am I doing? Ah, flip it. It'll fit on there like that. And my husband is the one that told me to do this instead of the hinge. Anyways, it will fit like that, and we did round the edges down a little bit, and I've sanded this, and that will fit there. So you realize with this tilted like this, see, it's going to be tilted, and I had this to go on it. If you get a heavy enough recipe book, it would maybe pull this forward. So I got another piece of board that will come down about whatever the angle is. When I put this on there, then I'll figure out how far to bring this down so it will set flush on the cabinet and it won't be able to tip. So now I've got to take, I was ready to put it together and almost have it finished, but now I'm going to take these in and paint them, and then I'll put it together. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, now I'm back here in the craft room and I got it set up, and you can see more about what I was talking about. I have that back there at a 17-degree angle, and then when it's tilted, I have this. If you put a book up there, it won't come forward. Where if I had it up here even, it could fall over. The weight of the book could tip it. So that's what I was trying to explain out there. So that's my change. So I'm going to get busy, and I'm trying to figure out whether I'm just going to stain that back piece or paint it the white, or the, what was it, the drop cloth. I know this is going to go drop cloth, but I think I'm just going to stain this back here. So, and then once I get that done and it's dry, I can nail it together and it'll be finished. Well, I have it finished, and this is the way it looks under my countertop. And you can see it fits back in there nicely. And here's a recipe book. That one's a little more lightweight. And then here's a heavy one. The thing is, I think it'll hold it open. It's a pretty thick book, as you can see. And it fits in there nicely, and it holds my page open. The only thing I'm wondering is if I shouldn't put something down here. I know I need to go back and fill in my brad holes. I used my brad nailer, and I need to fill those in. But I'm wondering if that doesn't need something on there. But it holds my recipe book really good. And I'm always laying like I'll have a sheet out of my binder, and I'm always looking for my recipe. Now I can lay it on here and know right where it's at. Get this out of here and show you. There's how the back end looks. And it just holds this up perfect. And with bringing this on down, using a thicker piece and bringing it on down, it is not going to tip. So I'll bring it out where you can see it a little better. And here's the image. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And until the next one, we'll see you later.